Take more risks, you know. What if I can make this kind of money?
So today's episode, we are brought to you by Submission Nutrition.
They are a nutritional food company that provides clean and nutrient-dense food products designed for combat athletes. Their overnight oatmeal helps athletes stay on course with a healthy eating regimen.
Wait, so is this all organic?
Exactly, 100% organic with hemp seed, flaxseed, and chia seeds. It's with superfoods in all of the flavors.
So it's not just oats.
Nope, they use goji, pineapple, cacao nibs, and it's an amazing source of protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and complex carbohydrates.
Is it like other oatmeals with a lot of sugar?
Nope, they use no added sugar.
I personally love overnight oatmeals because it's an easy way to have a healthy breakfast, especially when you're on the go.
Yeah, super convenient. And since it's oatmeal, it's really filling, and it's easy on the stomach so that you don't have to worry about an upset stomach during training.
Do they have different flavors?
They do. They got regular base oats, they got mountain muesli, mulberry goji walnut, pineapple coconut, and my personal favorite, chocolate almond and nibs. And I'm actually wearing a Submission Nutrition t-shirt right now as we record this advertisement.
Hold up. Not only do they sell overnight oatmeal, but they also sell some merch?
Yep. So head on down to submissionnutrition.com or find them on Instagram and go pick up a couple bags of overnight oats, get a hat, maybe a couple t-shirts. But before you check out, make sure you enter in promo code Sancha, that's SANCHA, before checkout to get an additional 20% off of your order.
We are also brought to you by No Flash Inc.
They are a tattoo parlor here in northern Colorado where they do 100% custom, all original tattoos. They've tattooed me. They've tattooed my entire family. I know you guys are going to love their work because I love their work. If you're familiar with the Greeley area, they are right off of 29th Street, but you can find their address on nfitattoo.com.
Or you could also find them on Instagram or on Facebook by typing in No Flash Inc.
Or shoot them an email to book your appointment right now at noflashinc@yahoo.com or just call them at 970-313-8064. Just don't forget to mention the Sancha and Sancho Podcast for your discount. So today's episode, we have another one of our good friends who's a young entrepreneur. He's actually the owner and the man behind it all for Submission Nutrition. We talk Jiu Jitsu and how it changed his life. We talk starting a business. And we actually just got back from California just about a week ago to go and compete in a tournament that Submission Nutrition was sponsoring. So fun little trip. I like having him around me as I think of him as my unappointed accountability buddy. So without any further ado, we give you Henry Alvizo.
Yeah.
My
You
first
are
podcast,
actually
so-
our fourth guest.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, you guys have 4 times the experience then.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I like your hat.
Thanks. Submission Nutrition.
Oh,
Rep.
snap.
Yeah.
Representing. Yeah, I like it.
Represent. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the show.
I know. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you like a Greeley native or, like...
Yeah, I'm a Greeley native, born and raised here. Really.
Okay, so born in Greeley. You started going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get into jiu-jitsu?
So I was wrestling. So I started with football.
Okay.
I didn't really play any sports growing up. I don't know. My parents just never really were sports people,
Mm-hmm.
So I was never really about sports. They just wanted like school and like, just kind of hang out with your friends or whatever. Just do what you do.
Yeah.
But I started in high school. I was like, well, I need to do some sports, and I didn't play any sports up until high school, like no soccer, no. Well, I take that back. I did like some like club basketball and I did like volleyball one time and
Okay.
stuff like that. Small sports, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say I like joined a league or anything like that. So I played football my freshman year of high school and I really sucked. Like I was just not good at football because I hadn't played any sports. I didn't really I hadn't unlocked any athletic potential. And I was like, man, this sucks. Like I was never getting to play, and when I would play, it'd be like once or twice a game.
Dude, high school is way different, man. Like you play sports in like middle school, like you get a lot more playing time for sure. You get into high school and it seems it's like a lot more serious.
Well, kids are a lot more developed. You have to go against other kids that are they've been playing sports all their lives.
Yep.
And I was like 120, 130 pounds soaking wet. And I was getting hit by these kids. And I was like seeing stars. I was like, man, I don't know if this.
This is horrible. You're like, how did these people do this? They like this?
Yeah, but what I really liked was weightlifting because there was a weightlifting program for football because they wanted us to be strong, and I got really, really into weightlifting, and because you're not getting hit, it's you against the weights.
Yeah.
And I really found that was I was really big into weights, and I had lifted a little bit of weights in middle school. I had like a weightlifting class or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I was weightlifting, and the football coach came up to me, and he was like, man, like, you're pretty strong for your weight. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. He's like, you got some big forearms. He's like, you'd be good at wrestling. And I was like, wrestling? I was like, I don't know about that. He's like, yeah, man, you should wrestle. See how that goes.
And this was in high school when you got approached?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, in like my sophomore year, because I was going to play football my sophomore year as well. Okay. I think I did, I think I played for like half a season or something. So I was like, all right, I'll go wrestle. And I just fell in love with it, like, immediately. I was like, man, like, I'm fighting.
You're like, this is way better.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't have to fight, like, I didn't have to run into kids that were, like, 220 pounds,
All the man-childs, too,
seriously, yeah. Kids on steroids and shit.
Yeah, dude.
Dang.
So I was
Is
wrestling.
that really a thing? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies,
there's some kids.
Be careful. Oh, yes.
I swear, there's some kids that just, like, they look like a full-blown adult. And everybody else around them are just, like, still look like kids. Like, you see high schoolers. I don't know if it's just that we're getting older, but I feel like every time I see high schoolers, I'm like, why do they look like they're younger? Like, they look like children. But, like, some of the kids in there, like, don't look like that. They look like a full-blown adult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're probably on roids, too. So
I knew plenty of kids that were on roids, like, confirmed.
Wow.
Yeah. But, yeah, I started wrestling, and I really liked it. I sucked at it my first year. I won, like, a couple matches and just got, like, destroyed like all the other matches because I didn't know how to move around. I didn't really. I was stiff from the weightlifting because I had done so much weightlifting because that was like my passion. That I was stiff from it. And with wrestling, with any combat sports, like you have to be able to move well. Like this from Jiu Jitsu, you can't be stiff. If you're stiff, bad things are gonna happen.
Bad movement. Yeah.
So I was really stiff for my first year. Like my sophomore year, but I stuck with it. I was like, all right, like I see some potential here. Kids would tell me like, oh, dude, you're really strong, like, and the coach would tell me, all right, like we just got to work on some things. So, I really fell in love with wrestling, but I was never good enough to like do it in college, and I didn't have enough experience versus kids
that have been doing it since
all
their
their lives,
kids,
4 or 5 years old. But it always stayed with me that I wanted to fight, to wrestle. I had done like karate as a kid and stuff like that, and martial arts and self-defense and stuff like that. So wrestling was right up my alley. And so after graduating high school, I didn't go to school for, I didn't go to college for wrestling, get a scholarship or whatever. And
in that moment, like, what was kind of going through your mind? Because, I mean, like, I feel like it's always, like, a lot of pressure having to figure out your entire life at your senior year. Like, I feel like there's just always that pressure from parents, teachers, just adults.
Yeah, did you have a plan? Did you want to go to college?
I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like for real, I just thought, like, something was going to happen. Like somehow things were going to work together. And, I mean, they kind of didn't in some ways not. But, yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't really see a plan. Like, I don't know. Did you guys have a plan, like, graduating? Like,
No,
I
man.
knew for me, I knew for a fact I did not want to go to college because I just don't like school.
Yeah, the school that I went to, man, it was, I feel like there definitely was a lot of pressure to, like, have some sort of plan because you got kids that are going to, like, CU Boulder, and, like, some kids are getting crazy scholarships. Like, this one girl, she got, like, a $50,000, $60,000 scholarship because of her art. I'm just like, all right, I'm not good at that. Like, I don't have anything that I'm that good. This one guy got a full ride scholarship because of soccer. I'm like, damn, okay, well, I'm not that good at soccer. Like, I just never really developed anything. So when it came to like getting scholarships to help me go to school, like I just wasn't there at all. And then just trying to figure out like, okay, so I'm supposed to pick a career. Like this is supposed to be something that I got to do for, I mean, technically the rest of my life. I don't know what I like. I don't even know what I'm good at. So
Right.
no, I just ended up going to like the community college, but I only lasted like a semester.
Really?
I hated it. And I just felt like I didn't know what I was like, the end goal was. So I just felt like I was wasting my time. Yeah. So I just couldn't really get motivated, man. It was weird. Definitely a weird time of my life.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always really difficult for people who don't have any particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, because I was one of those kids too. Like I wasn't dumb or you know, anything like that to where I would say like, well, you know, I got to go work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I knew I was smart and I knew I had potential. I hadn't really discovered what that potential was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But what I did know is like, I wanted to do something cool and I didn't want to go work a factory job or whatever. My parents, you know, my dad always told me like, I want you to be better than me, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm sure most parents are like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, but yeah, I didn't really have a plan. I went to community college as well. I got my associates. My plan was to go to CU Boulder for architectural engineering.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then I sat down with a couple architects one day, and they kind of told me what it was like to be an architect, and it sucked.
You're
Really?
like,
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And the commitment I was gonna have to make, you know, a lot of money to go to those types of schools.
yeah, especially to CU Boulder. It's
Yeah.
not a cheap school.
It's
Yeah.
not a cheap school. Huge commitment. So I backed out. I wasted a lot of time taking like all these extra classes for engineering and stuff like that. And that was just like a couple of years ago, you know, where I kind of finished that up. But yeah, I mean, I really backtracked on what I wanted to do, and I'm glad I didn't go to CU Boulder because that isn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an engineer for the wrong reasons. Because I felt like I had to compensate, you know, because engineers are perceived as smart people, you know.
Yeah. 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 It's very prestigious.
It is, yeah. So that's what I wanted to do, but in my heart, you know, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something cool, you know. I wanted to do something I was interested in, and I had always been interested in like wrestling was always like one thing where I was like, man, like that's something I really had fun doing, you know, win or lose, I didn't care. I had fun doing it, and
Yeah, it just like really stuck with you.
yeah, exactly.
It's definitely a lot different when it's an individual sport. I'm all about team sports, like the camaraderie and all that stuff. Like, I think that's what got me into jiu-jitsu. I just missed like being around the homies, you know, like I miss like I said, that camaraderie of like finding a place where everybody's like chill, like they want to be around you, you know, and like you're learning something. And there's something about the struggle, or there's something about the suck, or like being crappy at something that kind of motivates me a little bit. So, I mean, when I found jiu-jitsu, like, so, I mean, always watching fights like UFC and stuff like that growing up, like I always thought it was cool, you know, and like me and my buddies would like wrestle like at the park and shit. But I never actually like, I never wrestled at school or anything. So it was always like stupid. Like it just felt weird, you know?
Just fell on the ground like.
Yeah, just like hoping like people
Now
aren't
what?
stopping and staring at you. Like you just get like super awkward. But
It's funny.
I knew I'd always wanted to do something like that. And then as soon as I moved out of my parents' house, like that's something that was always in the back of my mind that I really wanted to try to get into, but I just couldn't afford it. So yeah, a couple of years ago, when I was like, okay, I definitely got a lot of, like, I have enough money to where I can make it happen. And I just I started a new job, and this guy that was in my training class, Carlos Rubio, he was like, oh, dude, I train at the farm. And I was just like, the farm? I heard about that place. I've been trying to go check that place out. He's like, dude, come in, check it out. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, give me a couple months at this job. Let me see how it goes. Like, I mean, I don't know, want to be tired, you know, like just excuses, you know, like I need to get in shape. I need to work out and stuff like that. Like, and one day he showed up to work and he was like, bro, here's a gi.
Oh.
I gave you a gi. Now you need to show up. Show up to class. So I was like, all right, that's a lot I need to go now. Fuck, okay. So I just showed up, and maybe he's not the best example. He's like definitely very offset from where my weight class is, to be fair.
Yep.
So I just got smashed, dude.
Oh, you were just rolling with Carlos?
Yeah, man. Not a good time, for sure. Definitely got destroyed. And I don't know what it was about it, though, man. Like, I just, I fell in love really fast with it, man. Like, I definitely feel like that's what I was missing, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes me wish I would have wrestled in high school. Like, it made me wish I would have found jiu-jitsu, like, when I was a lot younger. Like, because it's fun, man. It's
very fun.
It's the hardest thing I've ever tried in my life.
How I got into jiu-jitsu, it was, so I was in wrestling in high school. So I kind of knew. I was like, well, I know about this jiu-jitsu thing, but so I would watch videos and stuff, be like, what are they doing? Like, this is so weird. Like, this isn't wrestling. They're just like moving around on the ground. Like, well, no, I take that back. I didn't watch any videos. I just kind of heard what jiu-jitsu was. I was like, it's some sort of wrestling.
Isk.
Some sort of grappling of some sort. So I told my friend, I was like, dude, we should go do some jiu-jitsu sometime. I needed somebody to go with me because I didn't want to go by myself. That's, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go by myself and go get beat up by a bunch of strangers. And so I told my friend, he's like, dude, that's some crazy. Like, I don't want to go to, he wrestled too. He was a big football player. He's like, I'm not going to go to jiu-jitsu and get my ass kicked. Like, what are you, crazy? I was like, damn, like, if he can't do it, I can't do it. So I put it off. And 6 months went by or whatever. And I told my other friend, I was like, dude, let's go do some jiu-jitsu. So we went, made it to the farm. And we both showed up, and it was Adam. I don't know if you ever met Adam, Purple Belt Adam.
Yeah.
He was there, and he was showing us around. I was like, man, this guy's really tough. Like, you know, the way
he's
he
a
talks.
Big guy.
He's a big guy. He's you know, the way he talks is very like demanding in a way. He
very
makes his
alpha.
presence
Yeah.
He's a very alpha type guy.
Yeah.
So that made me think. I was like, man, this guy's really tough. Like, I might get my ass kicked today. Let's see how it goes. So we went over some drills. It was like back takes or something like that. And then finally it came time to roll. And I remember we were rolling, and this was like a year before I actually got into jiu-jitsu. Because let me tell you, I got beat up so bad that I didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
This guy, he was a blue belt. He doesn't even train there anymore. I don't know who it was. He tied an arm behind his back. he was like, all right, I'll give you a shot. I was like, you're a wrestler. He's like, all right.
No.
Yeah, because all I knew was wrestling. I was like, all right, I'm just going to take him down, and then something.
Wait, like literally tied an arm to.
What, he put it in his belt?
He put it in his belt.
What?
Dude, that's so gangster.
Yeah, and he triangled me like 10 times because I was just double legging him. Boom, right into a triangle 1,000,000 times. And I was like, man, like, I'm never going to learn jiu-jitsu. Like, this is way too hard. Like,
that's
it's
so
impossible.
savage.
Yeah, it was impossible. I was like, man, like, there's no way I'm going to learn this. So I put it off for like another year. I was like, I'm not going back there. Like, there's just
like,
no
that's
way.
horrible.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm going to learn this. Because I got beat up so bad, but he was just an asshole.
Dude, the
about
arm
it.
behind the back, that's definitely.
That's freaking insane.
It was demoralizing for sure. I was like, man, like, there's no way I'm gonna learn this. I was like, I gotta go find some other hobby, you know. So I took a year off. I was like, man, this really sucks. I didn't really have any real hobbies that I could say like.
Broke your dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
He broke you, yeah.
He broke my dreams.
Oh man.
But yeah, so a year went by, and I was like, man, I need to get back into this. Like, I need to see what happened last time. And I was actually watching videos. I was watching the On It Invitational, the Eddie Bravo tournaments.
Okay.
And I was like, man, like, look at these guys were like breakdancing on the ground. I don't know if you guys know the Martinez brothers.
Yeah, Richie
and Gio.
Yep.
I was like, man, look at the way these guys are moving.
They're so flexible, dude.
And it was right around the time where Conor McGregor was doing his movement stuff when he was fighting Jose Aldo or whatever, or Chad Mendes.
Okay.
He was he was doing all his movement training, and he would walk around all loose and stuff like that. And I was like, man, like, I want to learn how to move my body like that. I was really big into yoga. I was doing yoga like 3 times a week, hot yoga at the conditioning spa. And I was like, all right, my body's flexible. They had a punching bag there. I would go and hit the bag. Pretend to hit the bag, you know. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was going in there. I was watching videos. I watched this video of Joe Rogan teaching GSP how to throw a kick.
Dude, yeah, I've seen that.
I watched it like 100 times. I was like, all right, like, this is how you do this.
I got that. Just raise the leg.
That's the one you showed me, right?
Yeah,
that's
killing
freaking
the bag.
insane.
Yeah, he's like folding it.
Yeah.
So I was watching that. I was like, man, like, I really want to learn how to fight. And yeah, I was doing yoga, and I was learning handstands and how to walk on my hands, and I was doing all these unconventional workouts. But I was like, I don't know. I got really bored with yoga, and I got really bored of working out.
Mm.
And so I started looking at the UFC and looking at all these jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I was like, man, this looks really fun. Like, I might not be able to go to, do college wrestling, but I can go do some jiu-jitsu, and I could eventually do some tournaments. Because I was showing my parents, I was like, look at what they're doing. They're like, what are they doing?
Yeah, like they're on the ground rolling around. Like what?
Yeah.
You're like, no, he's choking him right there. He's choking him right there.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Look at that. Look at.
That's literally how it was. So I was watching all these videos, and I was like, man, I really want to do this. Like, I want to compete. I want to push myself. I want to learn some new skills. So I went in, and I met a friend. I never went back to the farm because I knew that guy who tied his arm behind his back.
You don't remember who this guy was?
No. I mean, the guy wasn't an asshole. He was just being cocky. And,
Yeah.
And roughing me up a little bit. He definitely was not an asshole, though. He was just, he was an asshole for putting his arm behind his back.
Yeah.
But he was a cool
That makes me
guy.
want to try that now.
Yeah, against a beginner.
Some new guy.
Oh my.
I mean, I could see myself doing that. Like, we know enough jiu-jitsu now to get away with that kind of stuff. Like, you just triangle a wrestler, like, easy enough. You just need your legs.
Yeah.
One arm. So I had a coworker just like you. He was wearing he had a backpack that said Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or something like that.
Okay.
I was like, I need to talk to this guy. This guy knows some jiu-jitsu. So I approached him, and I was like, dude, you do jiu-jitsu? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, you do jiu-jitsu? And I was like, no, but I want to. So he's like, yeah, man, come with me. He was about our size, 100, 140, 150 pounds. I was like, this is perfect. Out in Fort Collins. So he invited me to a couple classes out in Fort Collins, Macy Barber's gym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's lit.
I got to train with Macy Barber.
Oh, you met her?
Yeah, I got to. I
Damn,
did,
that's
my
crazy.
First 3 or 4 jiu-jitsu classes with her.
Is she tall?
No, she's short.
She's a little short girl?
She's 120 pounds.
This last fight I saw, Cindy mentioned it, that somebody told her she's from Greeley. She lived
she's
here
born
in
in
Greeley.
Greeley.
Oh, now
Born
I
in
know who
Greeley.
you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
Did you roll with her?
I didn't get to roll with her. I was scared I was gonna like hurt her or do something weird or because it was my first time. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was super out of shape.
Suplex her?
Yeah, like I remember I was wrestling and the mats were like ribbed.
Oh, what the?
Yeah, so wrestling, like I would take shots and I would scrape my feet on the mat, so the tops of my feet, like the skin would get peeled off.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, 'cause all I knew was wrestling, how to take a shot, and I would drag my feet on the mat, and I was like, I don't want Macy getting close to my nasty feet. So,
She's like, yeah, the kid's wearing socks. I don't want to roll with the kid wearing socks.
yeah, so I was just rolling. And my first day, I tapped out a blue belt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a middle-aged guy, so it wasn't the most impressive blue belt, but yeah. But I got motivated. I was like, man, I tapped out a blue
You're like,
belt.
I can do this.
Yeah, see, that's literally how it was. I was like, man, I went from, because I was watching videos now. I knew what they were doing. I knew not to get guillotined when I threw a shot, I knew not to get put in a triangle or whatever. So my buddy Jeremiah, out in Fort Collins, we got a couple classes. I was like, man, this is really cool. I was like, but I live in Greeley, there's no way I can drive to Fort Collins every time I want to train jiu-jitsu because I wanted to train every day. I couldn't, I just couldn't make it happen, I wasn't going to drive, 40 minutes to go train jiu-jitsu every day.
Start getting flashbacks from the farm then, huh?
Yeah. So I was like, man, the
All
farm is like
traumatized.
10 minutes away. Like, I should go. So I went and I got a couple classes there, and then I went back to Macy's, and so I kind of had I had to pick one. And I was like, well, the farm, they had at Macy's gym. She was the highest rank. She was a purple belt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was the highest rank in her gym. And then I went to the farm. You had Justin, Danny. There was like five black belts there or whatever. A bunch of black belts there. And
Connell,
yeah, Connell. A bunch of different guys. And I was like, man, the experience level is just through the roof over here.
We had that older cat, the bald dude. I can't
The
forget.
judo guy. I don't
Is that
remember
what he
his
was?
name. But yeah.
The bald dude was there, and then that other older cat with the Mexican dude, and his son would train there a lot. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Professor Roger.
Roger, yeah.
He's a really
Him
good
too.
professor too. He's busy, so he hasn't been coming in. But Yeah, so I went to the farm and I just fell in love with it, man. I was like, man, like I was going like as often as I could, like every day almost.
Yeah, me and you started like right at the same time.
Yeah,
Like right
I
at
think
the same
so.
time. Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
see you for a while though. I mean, probably like a couple months in. I don't know if we just had different schedules or something. I remember Carlos was
I just kept hearing about you. Like, dude, you need to roll with this kid Henry. You need to come in and roll with this cat Henry. You guys are the same size. You guys be perfect for each other. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know who this is,
like,
man.
fuck that guy Henry.
Yeah. What do you mean? I don't have to roll with him. What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys would be a good roll. You guys would be a good roll. And then started seeing each other, and everybody's like, yeah, Henry's talking shit.
Yeah, that's what
Henry's
they were
talking
saying.
shit about you, bro.
Gosh.
And I hear you and be like, yeah, Anthony's talking shit about you, Henry.
Yeah, instigate, huh?
Yeah,
Yep.
dude.
Especially Carlos. Fucking talk
Yeah.
shit.
Jeez.
Yep. Welcome to the farm, man.
I remember when we first rolled, I was like, man, this guy is pretty tough. But we were both very novice.
Yeah, super rookie.
Yeah. To throw down.
You've always been a mover, man, for sure.
That's definitely my biggest strength, I would say. Movement
Yeah.
and agility, speed.
He's got like
balance.
that wrestling hips too. Like that just makes it so like the fundamentals you can learn from wrestling are so big. Like if you're gonna get into jiu-jitsu, if you got some like a wrestling background, like that's such a huge advantage. Like that's literally it makes me really wish and kind of regret that I didn't wrestle in high school. I should have, man. I know I would have liked it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest things is body awareness. Because
Yeah.
if you know how to move your body, you know
Yeah.
how to get taken down, how to stand back up.
Takedowns, just period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting up is huge. Head placement, all that stuff.
And
man.
I always wanted to uncover my potential for wrestling because I wanted to get so much better at wrestling because I didn't get enough time on the mat to be like, all right, this is how good at wrestling I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And it always stayed with me. Like I need
Did you wrestle for 2 years?
like 2.5.
2.5 years?
Yep.
That isn't enough time, man.
No, it wasn't. And it's not 2.5 years. It's 2.5 seasons.
Oh, okay.
So in total,
that's not
maybe
enough
it was like a
time.
year and a half
Yeah.
total, on the mats. So I was like, man, like I really like this sport. I really like this this game. So jiu-jitsu was kind of the way in,
Yeah.
It's so crazy because at that time when you guys both started meeting each other and I don't know, Anthony just kept like pushing on me like, hey, like you should like come in, like, you should try it out. And I was like, as like a girl, like, sometimes you're like, I don't know, like who's all there? Like, is there even any girls? Like, so he'd be like, yeah, like, there's like one girl that I see in there and stuff like that. So like, that's what kind of like pushed me to like go and try it out. And then she wasn't there. So I was like, oh, well, dang, like whatever, right? And I actually ended up seeing you and I'm like, wait, what the
I know
heck?
this guy.
Yeah, I'm like, what? So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I think as like being like a girl going into the industry, it's actually very different as well too. Because
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
and
get waves. Like there'll be like a wave of girls that come in and train for like a month or two, and then you never see them.
Well, it's hard because, I mean, you're in it's a little easier for you guys because you have a safe space with Anthony,
yeah, right.
But if it was just you, like,
Yeah.
how would you feel safe coming into a room full of sweaty guys who are fighting each other? Like,
Yeah.
Like
Come
how?
and get
It's
in
weird.
between my legs.
Yeah,
like
let,
that's
It's
let me
weird.
go in between
weird.
your legs. Let me get on top of you.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me
Try
mount
to
you.
get,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
And
how's
like,
that-
especially like if you don't know anything, you're just like, okay, like you probably won't go back because you probably don't even like it.
as
or-
a guy, I mean, it's uncomfortable for
Yeah,
your
yeah.
first couple of weeks.
I remember the
having
first time
somebody
I
on
got
top of you.
somebody
awkward.
dripping sweat on my face, dude.
Goes in your eye.
Oh,
Oh, it was so like
that's gross.
internally mad and like grossed out, but then you're in the middle of a roll, so you're just like, take a breath. Like, all right, choke me, bro. All right,
That's
all right.
gross.
Yeah.
Next, who's next? Who else wants to like? You just try to hold it in, like, or the first time you get like a foot to the face.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I've experienced that. I think you were actually there
Really?
that time, and I was like, kind
oh
of upset.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you got kicked in the face.
Yeah,
Was it
like-
by another girl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, but yeah, it is pretty different as like a girl going in there and having to, if you're wanting to try like something new or
Yeah.
But it is important though. Like I feel like as a woman though, going in there, learning some self defense, I think that's
Absolutely.
really important to
It
know.
is.
Yeah, I think a girl that knows good jiu-jitsu fundamentals, like, it's far better off as far as like self-defense or any kind of
Like
situation
me
like,
and you,
that.
we
Like,
do it for sport. We do it for
Yeah.
enjoyment. But if a woman learns jiu-jitsu, it could change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can feel a little more confident. Not
Yeah.
saying that you should go into every dark alley you see.
Right.
But,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Seriously.
walk into your car at night, you know, from
Yeah.
the store.
There's a lot of situations that,
yeah.
women just like face, and it's
Mm-hmm.
awkward and weird and
Uncomfortable.
scary.
Yeah.
You could save your own life. You can save somebody else's, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. I think it's huge, man. Honestly, I think a lot more people should get into it just to kind of,
I think so too,
just to be a little bit more fundamentally based, you know? It's huge.
I think everybody should do jiu-jitsu. Like if it was a requirement, like in middle schools and high schools, you know, that it would really
just learn the basics.
Yeah.
So huge.
We wouldn't have as many bullies, like
Right.
you know.
Less fights. Yeah.
less fights.
People wouldn't be so quick to try to start a fight or like just to judge people, because it is weird. Jiu-jitsu is a weird sport because it's like you can go in there, you can be a small guy and roll with bigger, stronger people, and if they don't know what they're doing, like you could toss them around.
embarrass
Like,
them.
yeah, it's crazy. You can be a small person. Like look at even some of the guys like in the UFC, they don't look like they're fighters, but they're jiu-jitsu guys.
Oh yeah.
And they do really well.
Like skinny fat guys.
Really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're rocking the dad bods.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a weird sport, man. It's definitely it's cool to be playing chess with your body with somebody else. It's fun, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing ever.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done, for sure.
So you started doing jiu-jitsu, and then what?
And then I just started competing a lot, like every month, every week, like as often as I could. Like I was out there competing, like, I just like it was just so much fun, like challenging myself, like seeing how good I was, like going back and watching tape, like seeing like every little fuck up I made, seeing what I did right, seeing like all the cool stuff I could do with my body. So I started competing a lot, and I really, really liked it. I got that fire in me again. I was like that satisfaction of like what I didn't get out of wrestling in my short time that I was there. I was getting out of jiu-jitsu because I wanted that. I ultimately I wanted to see what I was made of, really see what my potential was. And I kind of scratched the surface a little bit, you know. We're diving deeper into jiu-jitsu, you know. We're on our way to our purple belts, you know.
Yeah. It's definitely getting a lot better.
Yeah, it's so I really got a lot out of it. I started teaching the kids class.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Not these days, but I did like a 6 or 8 month period where I was going in there like 2 or 3 times a week and teaching the kids, and I got a lot out of that as well because, again, going back to there's going to be kids who are confident in themselves that reduces like, you know, bullies that drives up their confidence, their hard work, their it just does so much for a person. So I was getting a lot out of helping the kids as well.
That's pretty awesome.
So I really I got a really big passion out of it, and you know, I put a lot of heart into it, and as I'm sure you did as well. Like anybody who's in there and trains consistently, like they do it for a reason, like because they really, really enjoy it and get something out of it. You know, like for you, like why do you keep going in there?
I just feel like it's almost like a drug, man. Like life is hard, you know? Like there's so many things that are outside of life, or, you know, dealing with like work life or home life or whatever it is, like, or just me missing sports in high school. Like when I'm in the gym and I'm training and I'm in a role, like I'm not thinking about anything else. Like you're stuck there thinking about like, all right, I need to survive the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever it is. Or it's like, all right, how do I get, like, I got this guy's back. Like, what do I do from here? He's fighting the neck pretty well. Like, oh, his arm is there. It's like, oh, I see his leg. Let me fucking go for the leg really quick. Or it's like, and there's so many different things. Like, it's a never-ending progression. So I think for me, it just goes back into, like, it feels good to be really, like, to not be good at something. Like, just, like, the progression that's always there. You can go in and learn something new every time you're there. And we got a good gym. Like, everybody's good heads there. Like, you can drill with anybody there, and everybody wants to take care of you. Like, nobody's trying to kill you, except for, like, the new spazzy guys. But I feel like that's everywhere.
Yeah,
but
everywhere, yeah.
it's a crazy struggle, man. I love it, man. I think I'll do that forever. I don't think
so
I'm
too,
ever
yeah.
going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I'm ever going to change. So,
Yeah.
And so then after jiu-jitsu, you discovered this whole new world, right?
Yeah.
And then you started a company.
Yep. So I started Submission Nutrition.
where did that come from?
Yeah.
So I worked at a company called Wild Zora. excellent place. And what I did there, I pretty much I worked every position, like literally, like they were just like they kept moving me around, not because I was bad at anything, but because I was filling in some gaps and doing different work.
What'd they do there?
So they produced like almost like beef jerky, but they would like bake these like meat and vegetable bars. So their whole thing is
Whoa.
like, yeah, they it's kind of like beef jerky, but they get like ground beef or like ground lamb or chicken or whatever, and they make these bars out of it, and they throw like vegetables in there and they bake them.
Wow.
And they also make like freeze dried like backpacking meals and stuff like that.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I
Very
got
Colorado-y.
yeah, for sure. So what I was doing there, like I saw their whole operation from like A to Z, from like their like manufacturing to order fulfillment to wholesale to marketing to pretty much everything. Like I got to see how that whole business was ran. And I really liked it. Like that was one job because I had worked a bunch of different jobs and just trying to find what I liked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something I really, really enjoyed. I was like, man, like working with the food industry, the natural food industry in particular, it was really, I could see how close-knit of a community it was, very similar to Jiu Jitsu. One food company to the next, it's just like a whole network of like organic foods and stuff like that. And so I got that experience there, and eventually it didn't work out with that company for certain reasons, but I ended up leaving, and I was like, man, like I really, really liked that place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a bummer it didn't work out. So I went out and I worked a couple different jobs. I was like a cook. I really wanted to be a cook at a good restaurant. I was like, well, you know, I already left this job I didn't like. Let me go find something else I'm passionate for. So I went and I became a cook for like 6 or 7 months.
I thought about being a chef too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as a kid, that was one thing that I wanted to do. It was like, I remember my parents asked me, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be a chef. First thing was an astronaut. I wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be an astronaut.
Right.
But number 2 was a chef.
Hey, you might still be an astronaut, dude. Elon Musk.
Yeah, I might.
Dude,
Mars.
space travel is around the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, so that was one thing I was like, I want to be an astronaut, but I'm not going to be an astronaut. It's not going to happen. So I want to be a chef. So that was always in the back of my mind, but so the chef thing was not going to work out because it's just not, you know, but I did want to work with food. I wanted to work with good food, so I went and I became a cook at this restaurant called Door 222 in Loveland, and they actually make like really, really good food. And I went and I did that, and I had a really fun time working with the food and stuff. And at the same time, I was like doing the jiu-jitsu and teaching the kids class and whatnot.
Nice.
So I was like, man, like,
I mean, you definitely seem like a health nut, dude. Like, dude, you're shredded, man. You're probably the I feel like the most shredded person at the farm. That's
probably,
for sure.
I
Like,
mean, it's a lot of it's genetic though. Like,
because everybody there's got dad bod, dude, for sure.
yeah.
And then I feel like when I bring people to the farm, they're like, so that guy's the owner? I'm like, yeah, that's Danny. Yeah.
The guy working the front desk.
I'm like, yeah. They're like, but he's kind of big. And I'm just like, no. See him roll. That man's dangerous.
He's like he's built like Daniel Cormier.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier's a UFC champion.
Yeah.
You know,
Danny's
it doesn't
scary.
matter because he has a belly on him. You know, it's like
Danny
it's just the way he's
scares
built.
me for
So
sure.
just like Danny's built that way, I'm built my way. You know, I'm skinny and shredded and lean and muscle bound. So I a lot of it's definitely genetics. But yeah, I did develop like a passion for food, not only through, you know, working in the food industry at Wild Zora, but also as being a cook. And I'd always loved cooking. You know, like I cook like 85% of my meals, like for sure.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. I really like cooking. And I had always been into like making smoothies and stuff like that as a kid. I didn't really know how to cook back then, but I was always like tinkering with stuff, you know, in the kitchen. So one thing kind of led to another. I really wanted to get back into the food industry, not as a cook, but in the actual, it's called CPG, Consumer Packaged Goods.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Specifically in food, which I really enjoyed. Like I was doing some of their marketing, running their Instagram, running their Facebook, fulfilling their orders, customer service. I was doing like I had hit on every single part of their business. besides, the CEO type related stuff, which is different. But
It's all the frontline stuff.
yeah, all the frontline stuff.
Stuff you need to know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Learn, yeah.
Yeah. So I learned all their stuff, and I was like, man, like, they were making a lot of money, like a good amount of money. They had like 15 employees or whatever. Their business at that point, when I jumped in, was already 4 years in. And I saw their story and how they came up. They started at the farmers markets. So like their first year, their story's kind of funny. That for their first year, they were like doing a lot of farmers markets and stuff, and kind of selling to friends and whatnot. And then like year 2, year 3, they jumped into the internet, started a website.
So you were like seeing the business grow.
Yeah, for sure. No, when I jumped in, it was already well into its growth phase.
It's pretty established.
Pretty established. They were already in a lot of stores and stuff. But yeah, they were making a lot of money. And I was like, man, like,
I need to get in this.
yeah, I was like, I need to find a way to make this much money.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at all their sales. Like, I was fulfilling all their orders every day. And on a good day, they would get anywhere from, 30 to 70 sales a day, a night. And I was in there and packaging all their orders and stuff. And I was like, man, like what if I could make this kind of money? Like, what kind of effort would I have to put through? I was like, well, maybe I can make some sort of bar. Because, into jiu-jitsu, you always need healthy food.
Yeah,
what are you going to eat before? What are you going to eat after? What are you going to eat at tournaments?
You don't want to eat too heavy.
Yeah, it has
you don't want to eat too
right.
light. Yeah,
It has to be just right.
Especially if you're cutting weight.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, competing all the time, that was one of my biggest things, because you do a tournament and you're there for, anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day, depending on how many divisions you do.
Yep.
And there was times where I would do like a gi division, a no gi division, an absolute division. So I'm there
all day.
It's an 8-hour, 10-hour day. So I would go and I'd pack my little lunch, take my lunch box, and be like, I don't know if I pack the right foods. you know? And then you cut weight, and it upsets your stomach. Cause I would go from like 155 to like 145, which isn't a lot, 10 pounds, whatever. But still, it's enough to mess up your stomach if you don't eat the right things. And, the last thing you want is like to have the runs at a tournament, like not to be too graphic, but like,
I've seen those videos. You got the guy that looks like they shit their pants.
Yeah, and
Dude, I swear,
there's
that's a
people
thing.
that definitely do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so the last thing you want is an upset stomach when you're fighting. Like that's just, you want to be focused on fighting, not focused on
Your stomach.
Clenching your butthole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But cutting weight will do that to you if you don't do it right, and I was not doing it right for sure. Like, I was making a lot of mistakes cutting weight. I remember one time I was like 12 pounds overweight, like a day before or whatever. No, it was like 10 pounds. But I had eaten this like Chipotle burrito.
Oh, no.
Damn.
And it was just because that's like all carbs and like a lot of salt. And it gets stuck in your stomach.
That's a big-ass burrito,
it's like you're
too.
not going to pass that in a day. So if you're trying to cut weight and you've got all these carbs and sodium and meat in your stomach, it's like, all right, now...
Your body's holding all the water. Yeah.
So, and to cut weight, 95% of that weight you cut is going to be water. And if you got a 2-pound burrito in your stomach, it's just it's not going to go too well, but... Anyways, that's a different story.
No, I want to hear the details.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No. Well, that time it was just brutal because I was cutting weight. I was in Denver and I was like 7 pounds overweight, like 2 or 3 hours prior to the tournament.
Oh no!
And I was like scrambling to find a gym with a sauna, and I go to this gym. And they're like, I was calling all these gyms up.
Like, yo, is your sauna open?
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what it was. Pre-COVID. So I called this gym. Like, yeah, we got a sauna. And I was like, cool. Like, I'm going to go.
I'll be there in 2 minutes.
It's not a sauna. It's a steam room.
Oh, no.
And the way you cut weight is you put 2 or 3 hoodies on, you put 2 or 3 sweats on, and you go and do jumping jacks.
Dude.
Or whatever in the sauna.
In a steam room?
And you're going to get soaked in the steam room. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I ended up, I go and I'm doing the machines and working out in the weight room.
They're like, hey, why are you taking the treadmill in the steamer?
Yeah. Yeah, but I was in there cutting all that weight with a freaking burrito in my stomach. And, that's a bad move. I mean,
never
overall.
again. Huh?
Yeah, never again. You got to know how to cut weight because it'll mess you up for sure.
Damn you,
Jeez.
Chipotle.
Yeah. Luckily, I did pretty good at that tournament. So, but still, like,
Yeah.
you do a lot better if you don't make those kind of mistakes.
I cut weight once in my life.
Really?
Literally one time, and it was the last tournament that I did. And I showed up, and the weight brackets were so chaotic. They ended up just merging a whole bunch of brackets together. So I didn't have to cut weight, dude.
Oh my god.
I was like competing with a freaking headache. Like I felt like crap.
Yeah.
And I'm rolling with dudes that are like 20 pounds, 30 pounds over my weight. So I was like, why? Why did I
Yeah.
do this to myself?
Yeah.
So
Especially in jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, I don't think I'll ever cut that much weight again.
It's dumb.
MMA is a different game, obviously.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
That's
you're
kind
fighting,
of
dude. You want to
obliged.
fight big. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you want to fight big. You want to fight strong.
Oh, man. No, you want to be healthy in a
It's
jiu-jitsu
definitely
match.
a science, like weight cutting, like because the guys in the UFC, like people don't realize this, but I learned this through wrestling because I had the experience in wrestling that people are fighting, 20 pounds, 30 pounds under their actual walk around weight.
Yeah.
Most of that is you start the season 180 or whatever.
Yep.
You diet down to 170 or whatever, and then those last 15 pounds you're gonna cut two or 3
real
days
easy.
before.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just not as hard on the body.
Yeah, but it's all about dieting for sure.
They're definitely not eating Chipotle.
No, don't eat Chipotle. Even after, like, one of the biggest things I saw in wrestling was you do these big weight cuts, and then I was even in high school I was doing weight cuts. So I was kind of familiar with weight cutting. And I would go and like eat like Subway sandwiches right after my weigh-in. It's like, dude, you don't want to eat a freaking Subway sandwich. And everybody does those kind of things. Like I've seen people eat McDonald's. I've seen people eat whatever.
Going ham on some pizza.
Yeah, dude, like for real. So that was kind of like my first the light bulb kind of went off. I was like, well, I would see people at jiu-jitsu tournaments eating McDonald's after their weigh-ins, and I was like, man, like you just ruined the whole reason you're cutting weight is because you want to be strong, and now you're fucking, you're eating this really bad food.
Trying to build up them farts.
Yeah. yeah. So I kind of saw this thing. I was like, man, well, I want to get back into the natural food industry. Like, I really think it's a good cause, because there's so much shitty food at the stores.
Yeah.
And especially like bars, like bars. I love bars, like nutrition bars. But
yeah.
you
Especially
go
in
there
the morning.
yeah, exactly. But most of them are super shitty quality because, it's these giant corporations like Cliff Bar or Luna Bar or whatever, making bars for like 7 cents. It costs them 7 cents and they're selling it for like $2. Well, why is there such a big profit margin? Because they have these giant factories. They have 200 employees, and they're trying to buy their third yacht or whatever. Versus the natural food industry, it's a lot, lower profit margins, a lot more better causes.
And it's
and stuff
cleaner.
It's cleaner, yeah. It's good for you.
That's why
for
it's
the
more
most part.
expensive, yeah.
A lot of it is kind of shady marketing, but I didn't want to do shady. I wanted to run an actual good food business to where I could impact people's lives in a good way, especially in jiu-jitsu, because that's what I do. Those are my people.
Yeah.
That's me. That's me doing those competitions, eating those foods, and I was having a hard time finding those good products that I could consume before and after in competition training, whatever, So, light bulb kind of went off in my head. I was like, man, like, I'm going to make a bar. So I started experimenting with all these different recipes and stuff, and I saw this company who was making these, I went to this coffee shop, and they were making these, like, healthy, like, candy bars, pretty much, out of, like, date paste, cacao.
Date paste?
Yeah. Well, most bars these days have a lot of date paste in them.
Dang, I've never heard of that. Date
Yeah.
paste?
Yeah, dates.
What is
Yeah.
that?
You don't know what a date is?
They look like a
Like a big raisin.
large, yeah. I was going to say grape, but yeah,
Grape
same thing.
raisin,
Yeah, it's like a grape-sized
like a pit in it.
raisin.
Similar to like.
Oh, I
yeah.
think I know what you guys are talking about.
Similar
Yeah.
to how like an avocado has like a pit in it.
Yeah.
Or a cherry.
Yeah.
It has a big pit,
Looks
and
like that,
it's
yeah.
basically like
Okay.
98% sugar or whatever.
Oh.
They're actually pretty healthy for you because they have like minerals and stuff in them, vitamins. But yeah, they're like mostly sugar.
Mm.
But yeah, where are we going with that?
How'd you come up with the idea?
Yeah. So I was making these bars. I was like, man, I want to make a good bar, and I had seen this company who was making these bars out of date paste and cacao and whatever
At a coffee shop.
At a coffee shop, and they were really tasty and you know, pretty clean ingredients and stuff. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna make a bar very similar to theirs. I was gonna copy their idea.
You're like, can I get every one of your guys' flavors?
Yeah, so I went on their Instagram, and they had videos of how they made the bar. I was like, I got them. I was like, I'm going to copy their stuff right away. But, I mean, I wasn't going to copy their stuff. That's messed up. But so I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a bar just like theirs, but mine's going to be better. So I started experimenting with making bars.
And that attitude right there, I love that because, like, I feel like going into, like, a business of your own, like, you know, finding that like, guidance as well, too. And just, like, I'm going to make something, but it's going to be even better. Yeah. Like, that's just...
Yeah. And not to cut off your story, where'd you get that mindset from?
What do you mean?
Where does that come from? What is it? What's inside you that's just like, I'm going to do that, but better? See that right there? I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that better.
Well, going back to, like, what did you want to do after high school? I knew I was gifted. I knew I had potential, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
It's just there's something about that drive that I feel like a lot of people are missing.
The
like,
drive
and they
to
get
be good.
stuck, like, in this comfort zone of the 9-to-5 everyday work life.
I did not want to do that because I had done that. I had worked factory jobs making cabinets and jobs, you know, outside in the weather.
Yeah.
And call centers and all this other stuff. And
every job sucks, man.
Every job sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you talk to any guy in his, you know, middle age, he's going to tell you, nobody likes working a job.
And if you're out there and you think that you love it, you're lying.
Yeah, if you have a boss telling you what time to wake up, what time to take your breaks, what time to...
Feels good, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, not to say, you know...
that's, like, wrong to do.
Yeah, absolutely not. You know, people should be proud of how they make their money and feed their families.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you know. That's how my parents raised me. It's like...
Yeah.
They did what they had to raise their family and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, that sucks, you know? Like, it's not fun, you know, for anybody.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I want to make a protein bar. I want to make some sort of bar for my people, my jiu-jitsu people. And I started investigating. I was like, well, there's all these jiu-jitsu companies. There's T-shirt companies. There's CBD companies. There's supplement companies. There's soap companies. Everything jiu-jitsu related. But there's no food companies.
Really?
Yeah. No food companies for whatever reason.
Wow.
There's, like, On It.
Yeah.
But they're not just jiu-jitsu, you know?
No, that's like whole mind, body wellness.
Yeah, and they do have some nutritional products, but most of their stuff is like workout based and stuff like that. Supplements, workout gear. So I saw what On It was doing, and I was like, man, like, On It's really. I was really obsessed with On It, their whole business model, and kind of how they made it happen. Just kind of an inspiration. So I started looking at all these different companies and how they were kind of running things. And
I caught you at the farm one time wearing an On It like sweatshirt or something. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, hey, is that an On It shirt or On It sweatshirt? And you're just like, yeah. I was like, damn, okay. I feel you. I like you, man. I like you a little bit more. That's crazy. You're listening to all the same stuff I am. So that's cool.
Yeah, On It's cool, man. I really rock with On It. Even nowadays, like, I would consider them like a competitor. In a way, but they're so huge that, you know, it's like a local store, like fighting Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
Like who cares? But yeah,
one day, man.
Yeah, one day, yeah. That's a dream. But I started looking at all these different companies and gaining inspiration and seeing how I could get to that level and seeing what I could do, you know. So I wanted to develop a protein bar. I spent forever trying to figure out like the right thing, like. But it's so much more difficult than you think, like making a good protein bar. The company who had that like healthy candy bar at the coffee store, I didn't want to make a candy bar. Like, that's why I was saying, like, I wanted to copy theirs, but not really because I didn't want to make a candy bar. At first I did, but I was like, I'm not going to sell a candy bar for jiu-jitsu people. It's like, I want to make an actual nutrition bar.
Want some candy, little boy?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh, that's Henry.
Yeah.
Don't mind him. He's cool. I swear.
Yeah. Feeding the boys candy.
Just don't buy a van.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna buy any white vans anytime soon.
Oh my gosh, you guys are horrible.
Yeah, but it's a lot more difficult than you think making a good bar.
Yeah.
So I spent a couple months trying to make a bar, and I just couldn't make it happen. Like the texture was off, the flavor was off, the ingredients were off. Everything,
I'm sure just getting everything to like stay in a bar,
it would fall
like, to
apart.
shape a bar.
Yeah, yeah, because you have to use kind of shady ingredients sometimes to kind of make a bar that's gonna.
I'm sure like real sugary or like kind of syrupy, something like it's real sticky, right?
If you look at a lot of bars these days, like something like Cliff Bar, they're mostly comprised of like rice syrup. They say it's because, and that's just like a straight syrup. Their defense to that is like, well, we're built for, this isn't something that you take just to lounge around in an office, this is something you eat and then you go run a marathon and you burn off all that rice syrup. Well, yeah, but what if you don't want to run a marathon, What if you just want to eat a bar because you were hungry? And
so they're really not that healthy?
No.
Not necessarily?
Well, I mean,
it seems like a real healthy-isk bar.
I mean, for sure. I mean,
I'm sure compared to some other ones.
Yeah, like it's better than eating like a Snickers bar.
I never thought about that, man.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but so I wanted to make a good bar, and I just couldn't make it happen. I was like, man, like I need to figure out something else. And then I'm still gonna make a nutrition bar, but now that I know what approach to take, because it was my first time trying to develop a product, and it was just I was taking the wrong approach. Like, I was buying like really small batch ingredients. Like I would go to the store and buy like a jar of almond butter. It's like by the time I get done experimenting with that $8 jar of almond butter, or
it's
$12.
not cheap. Yeah.
It's like there it goes, and I've only tried 3 experiments. Well,
So you were doing this all by yourself, trying to like create the ingredients yourself?
yeah. I was like making it in a blender, putting it in pans, and giving it to all my friends, and
Wow.
and
Dude, I love that, man.
Yeah, seriously, that's freaking amazing.
yeah. So I was but I just couldn't make it happen. Like so the bar was like I couldn't make a bar that I was proud of, that
It's presentable, you know. Yeah.
that I would really feel good about. So that's what I'm working on now. It's coming along. So I'm gonna make a good bar still for sure.
Nice.
But I need to step back, kind of look at what other products I can make. With Submission Nutrition, like it's really going to be a full nutrition line. That's why it's called Submission Nutrition and not Submission Bars.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, what's an easier product that is still quality and I can still be proud of, and I know is going to bring value to people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I started kind of looking at what my options were, and there was probably I had 10 different ideas or whatever. And finally, what I kind of landed on was like oatmeal, specifically like overnight oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't just want to make like a regular oatmeal because, for various reasons, like oatmeal, like for hot oatmeal, it has to stay hot for it to be good. It has to, I mean, there's just,
a lot of loopholes. Yeah.
The market's kind of saturated as well, like, for regular oatmeal.
I didn't really get into overnight oats until we got a roommate. And she was the one that like went out and bought a whole bunch of jars and like
mason jars.
And the first time she put it in the fridge, at first I got like real jealous. I was like, damn, like that looks really good. Like I want to eat that.
But she did make us some though.
Yeah, she did end up making us some. Yeah. Not to put her down or anything, but yeah. I feel like that was the start of it for me. I've always loved oatmeal, man. It's like it's real hearty. It's not like too hard to digest. Like it sits really well. It doesn't make you too full. Like, and it's not like a bowl of cereal. You know what I mean? Like it just feels better to eat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all the things you just mentioned there, I was like, those are the points I wanted to hit because it's perfect for jiu-jitsu. Like, like you go and do jiu-jitsu and some guy who's 50 pounds heavier than you gets on top. And you're trying to get out. It's like, well, if you're bloated, if your stomach's upset, like,
seriously,
that just makes it so much harder.
Yeah.
So.
But you don't really want to go and not eat, like
you don't.
You need it. You need the energy, man.
Like, and your blood sugar drops.
You need it. Yeah.
Feel good. So that was the whole thinking behind it. Is like I wanted a good product that was gonna sustain the fighters for a good training session, for a good competition, for just a good lifestyle. Like I eat the oatmeal all the time as a snack or whatever. But yeah, it's so I came up with the oatmeal. I was like, all right, like I was gonna. There's like 3 or 4 different approaches I was going to take with the oatmeal. Well, we could have done like little packets. We could have made it like hot oatmeal. We could have made like muesli, which is like a Swiss style oat cereal. And finally,
And in this transition now, are you still like doing it by yourself, or like did you find like manufacturers to like create this oatmeal for you, or how did you go about that?
no, I mean, it was definitely like 98% of it's by myself for sure. As any entrepreneur that does it by themselves will tell you, it's all dependent on you. Like, because as a business owner, like if you just sit there and like wait for things to happen, like you're just gonna sit there forever and nothing's gonna
I
happen.
feel like that's literally where the saying where it's like if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Like that's where that comes from. Like it's that right there. It's like that business mindset.
Yeah, because I mean, you send emails out, and you get kind of like as a business owner, you get excited when emails come in and you're making progress on your business.
Yeah.
But there was days where I'd be like, all right, what emails are going to come in today? Like I'm so excited for the emails, and no emails would come in. Why? Because I wasn't sending any emails out. I wasn't doing anything. So it was all me. Like not to say I didn't get a lot of help from a lot of different avenues, business mentors, counseling, accountants. My parents helped me financially. Friends sat down with me at coffee, like Gabe, like he helped me a lot. Coaches, they all had their everybody has their input. I've always asked for feedback from friends and stuff. So everybody kind of had their little piece, but at the end of the day, 98% of it falls on the person who wants the thing to turn into reality.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was all me, for sure. Like I said, I don't want it to sound like it was all me, because there's always going to be help. Nobody's self-made. I hate when people say, "Hey, I'm self-made." Like, dude,
seriously.
no, like you're not that cool.
Yeah.
But
It really takes a village, man.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for my parents, if it wasn't for my counselors, if it wasn't for my mentors, if it wasn't for podcasts, videos, YouTube, I would just be making bad choices like left and
love
right.
that. Yeah.
And I did make a lot of bad choices.
That's okay, man. Like you have
I made a lot
to,
of mistakes making this business. Like made mistakes left and right, wasted a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of things that were avoidable had I taken different approaches, but that's part of the big learning curve that comes with starting your first business. But yeah, it was so I had a couple different avenues with the oatmeal, and eventually I landed with the overnight oats. And I started doing a bunch of research on what the competition was, and I found like, all right, there's maybe 5 to 10 different players in the overnight oatmeal category. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do, because where there's 25 different competitors in the oatmeal category, there's not that many in the overnight. So I was like, all right, like, and overnight I think really is better for the lifestyle when it comes to jiu-jitsu, because why? It's portable, it's ready for you in the morning, it's convenient. So
again, it's not too heavy.
No,
it's perfect.
I really do think it's a great product, and that's what I wanted to make, was like a really good product that I was proud of, and that I knew would work for jiu-jitsu specifically. So yeah, I landed on the overnight oatmeal. Started making all these recipes, having people try them out, me testing them out, proportions, and yeah, I mean, from there it kind of just went into like the design process for like the branding, the packaging.
How was that?
It was really, really fun, to be honest. I made some mistakes in like the packaging design, because I don't know if I showed you guys. Did I show you the
Yeah, you've been kind of keeping me updated the whole time. You've been sending me stuff on Snapchat and stuff like that.
Yeah, the original designs for the packaging were just going to be like, it was just crazy. Like, it was just
You just get real fun with it.
Yeah. I was having too much fun with it, like, to put it lightly. I hired like this illustrator who made really, really cool art. It was like this psychedelic, trippy art, and he was making these like designs for me for like each flavor. But it was just too crazy. I was like, man, like,
it was like real graffiti-esque.
Yeah. Yep. So it was really artistic. And I was just like, man, like, as we were finalizing the process, I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, this is not a good idea. Like, I was like, because it takes a lot of money to get packaging produced.
Yeah.
Like thousands and thousands of dollars. And I don't have that kind of money to just throw away. And I was like, man, like, if this doesn't work, like, I'm not going to be
like, I'm in the hole.
Yeah, I'm in the hole, and it's going to take a lot of money to get me out. And I'm going to have to rebrand, and people are already going to perceive the company a certain way. So I spent a lot of time and money working with this illustrator, like months and months getting these designs made. I was like, man, this is a bad idea. So all that was put to waste. And I had to restart, and that was a huge hit. Like,
What made you change your mind?
it was just a bad design. Like, it was just a bad approach.
Like you saw it at the end, you're just like,
I don't like it.
yeah. I was like, nobody's gonna trust this company with this crazy artwork. I wouldn't trust a company with that kind of artwork on the packaging. But
I mean, maybe in Colorado.
Maybe, but I don't know. I just, not if you're, I looked at it and I was like, this is only going to attract a very small percentage of people. And that's not what you want to do as a business. You want to attract as many people as possible within your niche and do what makes sense. And, I had to backtrack, and that was a huge hit to my morale. That was a huge hit to my ego. It was like, fuck, like I just spent a lot of time and money doing it, and it was a huge lesson in really taking the right approach. So I was scrambling to find another designer. I was like, I had a lot of pressure coming in from like my parents and stuff. I was like, because I had already wasted so much time and stuff. They're like, when's this business gonna start? Like, why didn't you order the packaging? I was like,
what are you waiting on?
Yeah, what are you waiting on? And I was like, oh, like, it's just not right. Like, it's not gonna work. They're like, what do you mean it's not gonna work? I was like, it's just not gonna work. Like, so
like, have you seen it? No.
Yeah,
They're like, it looks good. And you're just like,
and everybody was telling me it looked good. They were like, I was getting really good feedback from people, but I feel like for the most part, it was just people wanting to be nice.
Okay, telling you what you wanted to hear.
Exactly, which is not
constructive.
It's not constructive. Like, I give people my oatmeal these days, and I tell them like, please tell me you hate it. Tell me what's bad about it. Like that's good for me to hear. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Like, my feelings.
It's what I need.
It's what I need.
Like, I need to know. Tell me.
Yeah, exactly, because it has to be better. You always have to be improving. So I had to backtrack all this process and get new designs made, and getting a package designed is a lengthy process, especially your first time. So I was like, all right, like, I already wasted all this time, wasted all this money, and I'm scrambling to find another designer. So eventually I hit somebody up, and they were willing to work with me, and we made it happen. We got the label design. I think it looks pretty cool now.
I love it, dude.
I love
seriously.
the colors. I love the simplicity.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
There's still certain things that I don't like about it that on the next round of packaging are going to be improved on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a whole lot better than where it initially was.
So those were some of the challenges you kind of faced while you were starting up your business and stuff like that. And so I guess now, you're pretty proud of your work and stuff like that. There's some things that you just want to kind of change, but I guess what else can we look forward to?
As far as new products coming out, I don't want to give away too much because
of course,
I get that.
But for sure the nutrition bars. But I've got more products in mind. I got 3 or 4 other things besides the nutrition bars that are really exciting and really cool. But the nutrition bars were going to be the number 1 product, but they're number 2 because the oatmeal was first. But I'm still really proud of the oatmeal.
Yeah.
It's what I envisioned it being. At the end of the day, I've gotten really good feedback.
Is there any books that you read or anything like that to kind of help you be guided?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I bought some basic business books. Definitely podcasts really help. Business podcasts, YouTube videos. I also signed up for course services.
Okay.
The LinkedIn Learning. You guys are
okay. I've heard about that. Yeah.
So you sign up for it. You pay $30 a month or whatever.
What do they teach you?
Just whatever you want. They have thousands and thousands of courses on whatever you want to learn, and most of it is business related. So I would just spend time a lot of business skill development. I'm not quite there yet, where I want to be. I don't think I'll ever be there. I don't think anybody should ever be satisfied. But I've definitely learned a lot about business, especially with the mistakes I've made. Just starting, I feel a lot more confident going into my second round of product development with the bars and stuff like that. Just because I already got the first one out of the way. I think the second round will definitely be a lot easier. It'll go more smoothly. But yeah, as far as learning and getting help, definitely podcast. I got in touch with accountants I didn't know this, but accountants will actually help you out for free.
Really?
Yeah, I had a couple meetings with like accountants. Until you pay for their services, then yeah, you know, they want to build a relationship with you for when you're filing your taxes and stuff like that. But most of their consulting services are free. What else? I signed up for. I got in touch with the Small Business Development Center in UNC. So, you know, whenever I wanted to have a meeting with a counselor, like for free again. So I did that. At Wild Zora, I had actually made really good friends with this guy that they hired on because he was good. He ended up not sticking with their company as well for similar reasons as myself because, you know, he went out, you know, he left the company as well, but I stayed in touch with him and he's been a mentor to me as well. So definitely reaching out to those mentors has helped a lot because if you think you can do it all by yourself, like you really can.
Yeah.
Like, and it's very important, you know, you know, it's what you get, you should also give back, you know? So I do want to help other people, you know, with their businesses and be a mentor to whoever needs help, you know, especially with what I'm good at, which is now I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I definitely have experience in this industry and eventually one day I will be good at it. So yeah, I mean, I think just working with those types of people does help. And you really should ask for help. Like, you shouldn't just expect for it to be, you know, all you, because it doesn't have to be. Like, people are happy to help.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you could just buy somebody coffee and there's your consulting fee, or buy them a beer, get them some lunch.
Give me 10 minutes.
Literally.
Give me 15 minutes. Let me just pick your brain for a little bit.
Yeah, just picking somebody's brains. And usually people are happy to talk and share what's inside their head because otherwise it's just going to sit there, you know.
So,
who are your inspirations now?
Like within people I know, or
It could be just anybody really. Maybe
Like,
somebody
do you
who
have somebody-
has like a successful business. I don't know.
do
Just
you have somebody that you follow, somebody that's just like always putting out quotes, or somebody?
or maybe it is family, or you know.
I mean, I think I get inspired by everybody a little bit, you know, for sure. As far as like famous people, I would say like the founder of On It, Aubrey Marcus. I think he's really inspirational just because I follow a lot of his stuff and just the way he created his business was like very similar to mine. Like, he talks about how he created his he has like a protein powder and how he was like mixing it together, and like one day he finally got the right batch and he was like going around giving it to all his friends, getting their feedback. So very similar to my kind of where I am right now. People like that. But really, I mean, I get inspired by anybody who tries to do better, you know. I get inspired by you guys. Like, this podcast is really, really cool. Like, I just get inspired by anybody who tries to be better, you know, because it's really easy to just complain, and it's really easy to just, you know, boo-hoo, you know, the world's against me. I think we're pretty lucky to have the internet.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have access to the knowledge that we do, to our consciousness, consciousness that we're, you know, raising and becoming more woke, for a better word. But that's really helped me, is like finding certain mentors online that I'll probably never meet in person. I think somebody like Aubrey Marcus I will meet one day in person, and it's not going to be a big deal. But certain other people that I look up to, you know, I wouldn't have access to them if this was 20, 30 years ago, because the internet wasn't around, and we wouldn't have access to so many different teachings and whatnot. But
For free, most of them.
so you can't look down on people who are, you know, 40, 50 years old, and we're over here like 24 years old, 25 or whatever, and being far ahead of you know, where maybe some people may consider where they were at our age, you know, or having higher aspirations, because if that was us, you know, 20, 30 years ago, you know, we might have been okay just working a factory job because things
That
were,
was it.
Yeah,
Right.
that
That
what
was
they
the
had.
spot. Like, that's where
You were
that was
happy.
the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this generation is a lot more aspirational to have better to have a better lifestyle, to reach higher goals. But I also see a lot of friends or certain people that go the other way, and they just they dive into the self-pity, or they dive into the alcohol, or they dive into the smoking pot all day. Not to say weed is bad. It definitely has its place, but certain people are just okay, hanging out and smoking weed and not really progressing. And before you know it, a lot of time has passed and you didn't get to where you wanted to be. Or you hit a certain goal and you're like, now I can relax. It's like, why are you relaxing? Like, you should be trying to, conquer the next mountain.
Better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can go back to yourself at 17, 18 years old, graduating high school, and give yourself one piece of advice from all the things that you've learned now, what would you tell yourself?
That's hard because I would just say take more risks, be a little more hungry to go further, to not have those mental restrictions, because you don't know what you're capable of. Like going back to like when I got tapped out 10 times by that jiu-jitsu guy who like why did I not go back the next day? It took me a year to go back because I had that mental block that I could never do it. And I probably was 18 years old at that time, So yeah, I mean, just not having those mental restrictions of what I'm capable of, and getting out of my comfort zone, because at that age I feel like I was really into my comfort zone. I was not really feeling like I could do certain things, or but that's always something that you got to work on, is
I think that's just something that everybody goes through,
Yeah.
especially in that age too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I like that though, man. That's huge.
Yeah.
So you guys think like at a certain point you read a certain book, which was The Secret, and that's kind of
What triggered everything? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a
Literally.
similar experience with the book as well. It was the power of the Power of Habit or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I've read that one.
Yeah, that's one of the first, because I remember I was like, man,
Charles
I was right
Duhigg.
around, something like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a yellow cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
With red. Yeah.
With a little red wheel.
Yeah.
That was the first self-improvement book I read.
Yep.
Probably the first book I read out of high school, really.
Yep. That was the
kinda
first
set it
book.
off for
Same.
me.
Yeah.
That was your first book as well?
That was the first book we had read outside of high school. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's weird, man.
Yeah.
We just kept seeing a bunch of celebrities talk about it.
I ran into it on accident, really. I was at the Ames library, and I was just looking for books. I was like, man, I need to start reading books. Like, I should become a book reader. Yeah.
Maybe it's that
I need to
age
be
or something
smart.
that you just like start like discovering.
Yeah, I
yourself.
definitely think those late teens, early 20s are definitely a developmental age. But yeah, I mean that book for me, it was definitely kind of what set it off to where it made me want to be better. Especially coming out of high school, you have to be better. You can't be a kid all your life. You can't have the same sort of habits. And that was what that book was all about. Was having better habits, and how ingrained we all are in our in the same belief systems and in the same daily rituals. And it talks about how like 90% of your thoughts are habituated. You don't even think about them because
You've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
It becomes comfortable.
If you do different things, it requires more brain energy, more brain power. So what your brain does is it streamlines things, and it goes through the same paths you've always been down. So that kind of got me thinking, like, I need to be better, because otherwise I'm just going to keep messing up all my life and not making the right choices. But yeah, I mean, definitely there's always those books that can kind of crack the code for you. Be like, like I need to.
Yeah.
Like I said, for a better word, it's woke. It's waking up.
And it's crazy too, because I mean, I feel like books just itself, that's history. That's like somebody else's knowledge that already experienced life, or that already experienced that situation that you're trying to find out of, So yeah, I think books honestly is life-changing, and it's different. How can people find you?
Just follow Submission Nutrition on Instagram, or you can just go to submissionnutrition.com. My personal page is personal. It's for my friends and family. But yeah, Submission Nutrition. It's just getting started. I'm really excited for what the future holds, and it's just the beginning. So it's really exciting to kind of get it going see where the journey takes me and the business, because I definitely want it to be more than just me. You know, it's going to be its own entity and get more team members on the bus to wherever it's heading. But yeah, submission.nutrition on Instagram.
That's awesome.
Hell
well,
yeah. Well, it's inspiring as hell, man.
Yeah.
I love kind of being on the sidelines and watching your progress over the last, year or so, you know? Like,
seriously,
it's definitely been
and
a
it is
work
a
of
trip for
progress.
me too, because like obviously we went to the same high school and stuff like that, and it feels good to know that you went to school with someone and you're seeing them succeed. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, same for you guys. I mean, I'm really proud of what you guys have done, and I think you guys have a bright future with this, and I
So
can't
do
see
you.
where this goes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for coming on and
sure.
sharing your story, your
pleasure.
journey, and just a million thank yous.
Nice.
Yeah,
for
seriously.
sure.
Thanks for coming
You're
on,
welcome.
man.